to today's video. I want to chime in with a quick impromptu video. In today's video, it's going to be some spiritual updates. So it's not going to be anything too major. I'm just going to chime in with some spiritual updates. You see what I'm saying? So, first things first, today is Sunday, March 1st. So it's a Sunday sermon, but I just said, fuck that. How about I make it a satanic Sunday sermon? So what I was thinking about with this whole Satanism thing is, and also Luciferianism, whatever you want to call it. Also, let me break this down to you first things first, because you got a lot of people out here that's completely delusional. They crazy themselves, and it's sad because when you point the finger at somebody, there are three fingers pointing back at you. You see what I'm saying? So basically what that means is if you expose somebody, you basically exposing yourself, right? Because that's just like you trying to say, oh my God, that guy smoked crack. How you know that? Because one, I don't. But how do you know that if you're not smoking crack with me? How do you know that if you're not selling crack to me or for me or something like that? You see what I'm saying? So when you point the finger at somebody, three fingers are pointing back at you. That's just like another example, which I do smoke weed. That's actually a real thing. I do smoke marijuana. So let's say you say, oh yeah, that guy smokes marijuana. How would you know that unless you actually see me smoking marijuana, would be the main one? Okay, cool. And how else would you know that if you haven't seen me smoking marijuana? How would you know that unless you were smoking it with me, or I sold something to you, or you sold something to me? You see what I'm saying? So when you expose somebody, you exposing yourself. Unless you actually like a real journalist that's actually there to get the actual facts. So when you do expose the facts, you're not exposing yourself because you're doing it with a genuine good purpose behind it. And another thing I want to say about that, I'm saying all this to say is that people are so confused in their mind in today's time and so drugged up or whatever they drugged up on. You see what I'm saying? I already admitted to what I do. A weed, a little bit of alcohol. You see what I'm saying? I don't really fuck with hardcore stuff like that. I try to keep it, on the earth level, because marijuana comes from the earth and alcohol comes from the earth because it's created with malts and herbs and hops and all that shit, which comes from the earth. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying like I'm justifying it or anything like that. I'm just giving you the facts. But I'm saying that to say is that when I said that I sold my soul to become a Luciferian or a Satanist, a lot of people, the first thing they said was I was on drugs, I was on crack, I was on this and all that. First is first, that's not even true. I was smoking marijuana when I said this. And another reason why I said what I said, it had nothing to do with drugs and it had nothing to do with a girl. I seen the girl that I have a crush on. She know who she is. Seen her a couple days ago. Nah, for real, she know who she is though. Shout out to the weed spot. Funny. I gotta get some type of hint, you know what I'm saying, so they don't get too lost. But what I was already having these thoughts in my mind um, when I was not necessarily before I met her, but like yeah, I met her and all that type of stuff. But me meeting her, that wasn't why I said, hey, I'm gonna become a Luciferian. No, that wasn't it. That was a part of the inspiration and stuff like that, but it wasn't nothing that had nothing to do with drugs. It was nothing that had nothing to do with women or nothing like that. It was just something that I wanted to do on my own free will because of what I was seeing and experiencing myself within these so-called religious sectors. So all my life or whenever, I was brought up as Christian and stuff like that. And like I was telling y'all that being a Christian and all that, it has its pros and its cons, but it's so much fuckery that goes on just in that one religion. That's not even all the other ones. In that just one religion, there's so much fuckery and fake shit that goes on. You know what I'm saying? But then the last straw was pulled when some religious people tried to pull some bullshit. Um, they tried to pull a bullshit setup on me. You know what I'm saying? This was like damn near like a month ago or something like that. And it was just bullshit, basically trying to act like they trying to help you, but they really trying to hurt you, like trying to set you up and shit like that. And the thing is, they think that I'm so ignorant that I don't know what they're doing. And that's the sad part, because you underestimate people you don't even know. You see what I'm saying? And that was just the last straw for me. Like, what's the point of me even following this shit when, look, look at my situation. So God obviously isn't um, the answer, because if that was the case, then I would have been out of the situation like a genie, right? It would have been solved overnight, right? You see what I'm saying? All these religious people and all this shit, they talk the most shit about people that's actually in need, and the only time they willing to help if it's through some type of church or congregation or some weird shit like that. And in another way, they only willing to help if it's you know, like somebody else kind of gotta tell them to do it. They never really do it off their own free will. So like that shit is just bullshit to me. So I didn't say I was gonna sell my soul for a woman or nothing like that. Yeah, that had a little bit of inspiration in it, but it was also on my own free will of what I was seeing personally. You see what I'm saying? What I was experiencing personally. You know what I'm saying? Like I was seeing bullshit and I called it out, and you mad that I called it out. So you want to say this guy's on drugs, he doing this, he doing that. No, I'm completely sober and free will. And this another thing too. I want to say this. I don't know what shithole country you came from, but this is America. You see what I'm saying? I'm American Indian, right? This is America, right? And we do things differently here. You see what I'm saying? I don't know what shithole you came from, but you could practice any religion you want to practice as long as you're not hurting yourself or hurting anybody. That's your First Amendment right. You see what I'm saying? The right to assemble. So when you see religious sectors and stuff like that, like churches and bar mitzvahs and all that shit, mosque and temples and all that type of shit, that's the First Amendment right. They assembling peacefully and to worship whatever they believe in. So if I want to be a Luciferian or a Satanist, I can do that as long as I don't hurt nobody in the process of me doing that, which I haven't. So therefore, I can do that. And also, if you don't know your facts, Satanism, i.e. Luciferianism, became an actual religion, and it was recognized by the federal government in 1974. You see what I'm saying? So this is real deal. You see what I'm saying? So that didn't really have a point of, oh, I want to do it because of this and all that. It had nothing to do with drugs. It had nothing to do with none of that stuff. You see what I'm saying? It was something that I seen with my own two eyes, and I said, this shit is bullshit. And you mad because I'm calling it out, and you mad because I'm standing up for what I believe in. You mad because I'm standing up for myself. So you want to try to just come up with anything to try to easily write it off as, that motherfucker's on something. You got to be on something to make a flip like that. Not necessarily. You can just be fed up. You can just be tired. You don't give a shit no more. And not necessarily you don't give a shit to the point where you don't give a shit or you just doing anything. I'm not at that point. I'm just to the point where I don't give a shit about what you're talking about or what you got to think or all this shit you're saying. I'm going to do what I want to do at the end of the day, because at the end of the day, you do what you want to do and you say what you want to say at the end of the day, right? So how you going to get mad when I do it? It doesn't make sense. You see what I'm saying? But like I said, me meeting a girl, she know who she is, so beautiful, so fine. That it's like, damn, I would love to get a taste of that. You see what I'm saying? So that kind of played a part in it, but like I said, I was already kind of having this experience and these thoughts, not necessarily before I met her, but like I had already met her already and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I already had met her and stuff like that, but the thing is, it was just like, you see weirdos in the background and shit. You see what I'm saying? Trying to start shit. But anyway, I had already met this girl and stuff like that, but I was already kind of having this experience and stuff like that. So it's not like as soon as I seen her, I was like, oh, I'm going to do this. No, it wasn't nothing like that. It was already kind of like I met her and I was like, damn, yeah, she fine as hell. I love to taste that. You know what I'm saying? But while that was happening on the other end of the spectrum, I was also going through that situation, dealing with these like fake religious people and stuff like that, and shit like that. And it's just weird. Like, you got some weirdos right now. They telling their kids to say go home, like weirdo shit. You see what I'm saying? They just want a reaction. I'm not gonna give them a reaction. Like, that shit's just insane, bro. It's disgusting. But and that goes to show you, like, right, you more of a Satanist than I am. Well, not necessarily in that particular way, but you're sick in the mind if you doing shit like that, and then you got the nerve to turn around and say it's a Sunday, or it's God's day, this and that, and then you doing weird shit like that. Like, you just want a reaction so bad. Like, these people like want to suck my dick so bad, it's just insane. And I excuse my French for saying that, but I'm saying that sarcastically. I'm not saying it literally. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying it sarcastically. But it's just crazy. Like they want to respond so bad. But yeah, like I said, that kind of played a part, but it had nothing to do with drugs or nothing like that. You see what I'm saying? I was just already saying, like, you know what? Let me try this. You see what I'm saying? Because these other religions and all that shit is just bullshit to me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, look at these people. Like, come on, man, you full of shit yourself. So it's just, you know what I'm saying? At least I'm honest about my shit. And it's crazy because, like, everywhere I go, it's like motherfuckers want to come bother me. Like, that is so weird. But then again, it can't be too weird because it's actually deliberate. You got to actually put the pieces together. Like, people are trying to deliberately do this. Like, it's insane. But that goes to show me I have so much power because if I didn't, who's taking all that time to pay attention to some niggas that they don't even really know like that? You see what I'm saying? So make it make sense. Make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? But also, I was also being honest too. And what I said in my video, this is like a couple weeks ago, probably, then like couple weeks ago, when I was doing the Sunday sermon update, and I was just talking about the same girl I have a crush on and stuff like that. I was actually making those videos for her on Valentine's Day and stuff like that. That was actually for her, and she actually seen those videos, which I'm actually happy about. You know what I'm saying? And she also seen my message and stuff like that that I sent her, which is great. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not rushing anything because when you start to rush shit, that's when shit start to go out of whack. You know, but like I said, things are starting to finally fall into place slowly but surely. And you know, it's a few reptilians and shit like that, haters and all that shit. You know, you gonna get that all the time, but you gotta ignore that. You know what I'm saying? But it's been a few of those, you know, reptilians in the background trying to sabotage shit like that. But at this point, it's meaningless. Like that shit won't even do anything. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, when I actually seen her, you know, I was just like, because even before I even met her, like, I'm not even gonna lie, I'm not gonna say that like I gave up or nothing like that. To an extent, you can kind of say that, but I didn't because, like I said, I'm self-employed. You know what I'm saying? So I'm earning my own money and shit like that, and I'm doing it legally, which is very hard to do. You know what I'm saying? But I just got other shit that I got to deal with, other situation I was already in, that I was already trying to get out of. You know what I'm saying? I just end up meeting her because, yeah, I went to that particular dispensary like 4 days after my birthday. Yeah, January 12th. My birthday passed January 8th this year. You know, I turned 31 and shit like that. So when I seen her, I was just like, damn, like wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, just wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then me just seeing her and just basically just saying like the potential of a power couple like that is just like, damn, I think I'm ready to actually get it together. And I know a lot of people may say, oh, well, that's sad. It takes for a girl for you to want to get it together. It's not even necessarily that. I was already getting it together. But I was just kind of basically giving up on love. Like, this shit is bullshit. I keep getting these bullshit people that keep coming to me, women, you know what I'm saying? Like, just on the same honeypot type of shit. And then I end up meeting this girl, and her energy is different. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just different. I could tell. She can obviously tell that my energy is different. You know, everybody going through something in their life. I don't know exactly what she's going through in her life. Like, she don't know exactly what I'm going through in my life. I mean, she has an idea and stuff like that. She's watching my videos and stuff like that, so she obviously has an idea. She knows. But I'm just saying, everybody going through something in their life like that. So it's like, you can't rush things. You gotta let shit just play out naturally. And that's what I'm doing. And yeah, I'm kind of actually glad that this stuff was unfolding like this because it's making me have a clearer vision of what I want to do. And I was actually thinking, what if I was actually to put out a spell book, like a witchcraft book? That's what I'm thinking. You know, like a book of spells, my own spells and shit that I do. Because, like, everything that you do is a ritual. Like, when you wake up and brush your teeth, that's a ritual. Why is it a ritual? A ritual is doing something to get something done. So if you're brushing your teeth because you want your mouth clean. And having a clean mouth, you won't have bad breath. You see what I'm saying? So you're brushing your teeth so your teeth and your mouth can be clean. You see what I'm saying? So it's just like, just stuff like that. You see, so, and I know it's like a basic ritual, but it's just like small little hints to kind of like wake you up. You know what I'm saying? But honestly, shit's been going good with the whole selling my soul shit. You know what I'm saying? I could practice whatever religion I want to practice. You know what I'm saying? Especially if I'm doing it respectfully and I'm not hurting myself or hurting anybody else, which I haven't. I could do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gonna have people that's just jealous for whatever reason. So it is what it is. I really don't give a fuck at this point. I'm gonna keep living authentically in my truth. You see what I'm saying? As we all should. But that's a whole different story for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it because, like I said, you got the resistance, aka the revolution, which is pretty much the same thing, just different word. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's gonna fall on a different position when it comes to the resistance and the revolution. You see what I'm saying? I'm just standing strong and fighting for truth, power on some public enemy shit, but I'm talking about the real shit. You know what I'm saying? And you got some people that's double agents. They not even being paid to be a double agent. They just want to try to stop somebody or somebody they know they got potential. So it's a lot of weird shit that's going on, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I can't even really pinpoint and put my finger exactly what it is, but my best intuitive guess would be it's like some type of weird cult, secret society shit that's going on. People call little people they know, hey, this guy right here, we're trying to get him. He's standing out here right now. Rad pass and see if you see him and try to get a reaction, like goofy shit, bro. Like it's insane, but it's crazy, and they trying to up the ante. But like I said, I'm from Chicago. I came to play ball. You see what I'm saying? I came to play ball. You know what I'm saying? I got my day live glasses on, metaphorically speaking. Basically meaning that bring your fucking A game, you reptilians. Wake the damn up. More videos coming soon. Fuck all that Jesus shit, man. Satan shall rise. The motherfucker said, this motherfucker sound crazy as hell. Right? I can sound however I want to sound, right? Right. But you still infatuated and paying attention to it, right? Right. Okay, then. Like I said, I won. Because if a motherfucker wasn't that important, why you paying attention to somebody that's not that important? Wake the damn up, gang.